Hello there people, my name is Amanamaz and I just got back from watching Thor Love and Thunder. It's a good movie, but nothing more than that really. Like, you know how Ragnarok reinvented the character and made him less serious and more comedic in a good way? This film carried it on, but less so in a good way. Like, there was too many attempts at humor in this film. While yes, some of it landed, more often than not it didn't. And most of it came from Korg. Like, there was a time where I just wanted him to shut up. Like, almost everything he said was either a quip or some other form of humor. If Ragnarok was described as an action comedy, then this film would be a comedy action film. Don't get me wrong, the action was great, but every action scene with Thor, Mighty Thor and Gorr, that was a bit of a mouthful, I thought was done really well and was probably the best part of the movie. Like, they made the characters blend in well with each other and they showed how much of a rookie Jane was. Like, she would want to go rushing in without a plan, and what they did with Mjolnir was pretty cool. I hope I pronounced it correctly or close to it. Coming apart and getting back together when Jane Thor was attacking shadow creatures. So yeah, that was good, but we could have done more with that and less of the comedy. I feel like this film left a lot on the cutting room floor, because even though Gorr was the main bad guy, and a good one at that, there wasn't enough of him. All of his god killing was done off screen, and we could have done with seeing that. But every time he was on screen it got serious, which was a nice tonal shift. He was terrifying, or would have been if we saw more of him, which is bugging me now because Christian Bale just killed it as Gorr, and his motivations, despite being on a fantasy level, you can understand. Chris Hemsworth as Thor continues to be great. Nothing more to add really, because he's been Thor that many times that he physically cannot add more to it. Unless they change him up a bit, like making him old like King Thor in the comics. And I hope he continues to do more. Natalie Portman as Jane in this movie I actually really liked. I thought she was so much better here than in the first two Thor films. I suppose that should happen when the writers gave her more to work with. Her arc in the movie follows the comic, so minor spoilers here, where she has cancer and becoming a Thor makes her a god and healthy, but when she transforms back, the cancer gets worse. So seeing how that affects her and her relationship with Thor was nice to see and was probably the more emotional part of the film. They went through a quick montage of their relationship in the past, and not gonna lie, I thought that was cute. And it did somewhat help with the relationship, because romance in the MCU isn't that great apart from Tony and Pepper, and initially Thor and Jane was probably the worst one, but this film really improved on that. Valkyrie was good, though I did feel like they ruined her character a bit. Like, they made her a bit too sad because she's single, and they promoted this film with her looking for her queen, but that's almost completely ignored. And I almost forgot there's a weird love triangle with Thor, Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. Like, since when were they almost sentient? And the film really could have done without that. Overall, it was good, it wasn't great. It almost felt like a parody of Ragnarok or an MCU film in general. The action, the visuals and designs of aliens and gods were good, and the soundtrack was awesome. Gorr was also a big positive, but it did feel a bit too silly with the amount of jokes they tried to land, and the Guardians of the Galaxy are barely in it, like 5 minutes at the start and then they leave. And the film almost feels a bit too short, like it could have done with another 20 minutes or so. So yeah, if I had to give it a rating, it would be a 6, maybe 7 out of 10. I suggest you watch it, but if you don't, that's fine. Anyway, that's all from me. If you could leave a like and subscribe, that would greatly be appreciated. Let me know what you thought if you've seen it, and I shall see you next time, and peace.